they're not officially on their backs yet as they wait for hand action to complete elsewhere, so as not to adulterate things. And Brewer's already copped to the fact that he has 8, so hang on a second. We've got developing spots elsewhere in the room on an ace-high board. Christoph Vogelsang, pre-flop min-raise opener, takes a peek at it with Dvoris and Ivey. Callers as well. A round of checks on the flop, a round of checks on the turn, and now not one but 2 players have made trips, and unfortunately for Phil Ivey, he's outkicked by Dvoris.
Yeah, rough spot for Ivey, and it looks like he is considering a lead. Look down at his chips, especially considering the turn action. Certainly looking to get value. Is going to find out very shortly that those trips are no good. But first, what will Vogelsang do with the 10s? There are some draws from the flop that missed. It is a little bit of a tough spot for Ivey to be bluffing into 2 players. Vogelsang doesn't block the Jack 10 of hearts, the Queen 10 of hearts, some of those hands that might find a bluff spot here, trying to represent that king on the end. You wonder how often Ivey would be betting, let's say, you know, an ace-x type hand into 2 players.
Christoph taking his time, not the last occasion on which I'll be saying something to that effect. Redeeming the time bank there. Lord Vogel puts 10s into the bin. Ivey was actually drawing dead on the turn, given that Vogel was involved with those 2 10s. No path to a victory, and the absolute worst card in the deck has come off for him as he's bet half pot here. Gotten through 1 spot, but
400.
Now Dvoris heard from as he makes it 400,000. And that's a bit merciful, Maria, insofar as Ivey has the opportunity to flat and be spared the showers.
I think because Dvoris feels like Ivey's range should be pretty weak here. If it's not just a straight-up bluff, then maybe it's some weak ace-x's that can't really withstand a whole lot of pressure. It's hard to think that your opponent, you know, has the case king in their hand.
We can't be jamming here, can we?
No. I just think that as played with the action checked around on the turn, there's just very few bluffs here in Dvoris' hand. Yeah. It's just not a line that I think players will take as a bluff. Ivey doesn't like it. Counting out what he would have behind if he calls here and is wrong.
Look at Dvoris giving nothing away.
Given the pre-flop action, Dvoris certainly will have a pretty strong range here. And so all of these big king X's, king queen and king jack, suited, unsuited combos, certainly can be in his range. Feels pretty enticing to Ivey in terms of not having to call much more to see, but again, just feels
how many have I
like
used? 4?
There just can't be too many bluffs here, if any, coming out of Dvoris. So at that point, doesn't really matter what good of a price you're getting.
$250 to call for a shot at 850, but stone money bubble implications, which are absolutely confounding the scenario here in this awkward spot for Phil Ivey.
Ivey certainly thinks it's worthy of using a few time banks.
Phil giving his all to every single spot, that in part why he holds 3 Triton titles and 12 cashes totaling almost $6.4 million and gets away from the $250K milking by DeVoris, who had him crushed. That means that Chris Brewer can finally swing the bat with his pocket eights against kings.
Pocket eights, 2 red eights. Eric Wilson, pocket kings, king clubs, king of hearts.
See Jorstad over for a front row seat from the feature.
King of diamonds. Yes.
Hoping that the bubble bursts and that the kings hold, which they do thus far.
Ace. No king of diamonds. Ace? Ace is a good
Any
card.
other king is over?
Ace is good.
I'll take jack of diamonds.
Ace?
Ace.
Ace?
I'm pretty into 2 of diamonds,
Ace?
to be honest.
That is a jack of spades.
No diamond draw picked up by Brewer.
Can you toss it to me? Can I squeeze it? It's a
Tenny?
foldable
Let him
tournament
squeeze it.
anyways.
Let him squeeze. He probably doesn't even know how.
That's true, I don't. But I'll have fun anyways.
And then
Ross will teach you. He's a mixed game player.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 3-side spade.
game,
Holy
guys.
fuck, good game.
An eightless river
Chris Brewer
means a cashless journey in event number 3 for Chris Brewer, who will have the dubious distinction of being the bubble boy here in event number 3. And moods are lifted elsewhere in the room as the top 20 are all in the money.
in the money, we still have 8 minutes remaining.